Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Bill here, and today I wanted to show you this project file. It's the project file for the collaboration that me and ill.Gates put out a few weeks ago called Harmonica Lewinsky. So you may have already heard the track, but you may not know, or what you may not know rather, is that you can actually get this entire project file off my website, and you can also get like stems and also what we did like during the entire time that we wrote the tune is we streamed the entire thing and we recorded all the streams, so you can actually get the entire live stream as well. So there's like I'll go through this shit in a bit, but like I didn't want to like just promote some shit and then not teach you guys anything, or like, you know, promote some shit and if you didn't want to buy it then you didn't get anything out of watching this video or anything. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to walk through this entire project file and kind of show you how we made the entire track. And then if you want, you can go and buy the project file and stems and the video and see exactly how it was all done and reverse engineer it and get in there and see my mastering chain and all this crap, you know. So yeah, so let's start with the drums, I guess. So actually one thing to note is the chain channel. So basically every time a kick or a snare hits, I have this like really short click sample. It just sounds like that, like a really short annoying click, and that channel is turned off, and we're using that channel as the input for all of our sidechain compressors. So like let's say we go to let's go to like a sub channel. You see we have a sidechain compressor on here. Well, actually it's just a compressor with a sidechain function happening, and the audio is coming from chain. So that's how we're sidechaining everything. So I guess that's like the first thing to note. The drums are kind of pretty busy. There's a lot of channels in here. Most of it's in audio, but there's a lot of it in MIDI. Like for instance, this hat we made with like a synth. So yeah, let's just start from the kick, I guess. So the kick starts, the first kick channel we have is this Foley kick. Sounds like that. I don't really know why that's called a Foley kick. It's not very Foley-ish. And then this next channel, bigger kick. These are both kicks that I've made in the past. Next down here we have snares. We have 3 snare layers, but I don't think they're always all happening all the time. Like for instance here it's just this 808 snare. But then over here we have like an 808 layer, which sounds like that. And actually I think I've put fades on these. Oh, actually, no. So here, a sidechain compressor turns on, and we're using a different snare. So here the sidechain compressor's turned off, so it has that kind of crack at the start of it. But then over here, you can see the sidechain compressor here turns on, and then you can hear it's cutting out the front of it. And I imagine that probably happens for this channel too. Well, this channel just has a sidechain compressor on all the time. So we're just using those as like noise to kind of fill out this snare. And we're using this one for all the attack, you know. And then with these 2 layers, it just makes it bigger. So kind of when you take those layers away, it just doesn't sound as good. If we listen to the entire drum beat without these layers, you'll see what I mean. It just doesn't sound as filled out. Whereas if we turn these on, it just kind of adds this like noise behind it, which fills things out a little bit more. The next 3 channels are like claps and stuff. So we're using this clap here, which is kind of like a nice wet sort of clap. And then the second one down is like a rhythm. That's just in MIDI. It might even be this. Oh no, it's a Waves Alchemy claps and stacks sample that I guess we just cut the front off, and then we're just doing some simple rhythm with it, and then that possibly changes over here. Yeah, no, it's just a simple thing. And then the Jersey clap, and then here I think we probably either put that in a sampler and pitch that up, or more likely just stapled a bunch of clips together by consolidating them with Control J, and then just use the transposition to pitch it up. Actually, no, that sounds like a sampler because it speeds up as well. This is just more Jersey claps. So then we get into the hats. This one is made with a synth. It's just a noise waveform with like, you know, a sharp envelope and I think at some stage there was some filtering, but we might have taken it off, so we can probably get rid of that. And what I'm doing is I'm spreading out the tops using a multi-stage thing by Voxengo. Sorry, not a multi-stage, a mid-side processor by Voxengo. And then I'm filtering out all the low end and then chorusing it to give it some side information and then widening it. So you get this nice wide shiny hat. Then we have shiny hat, which sounds like this. Again, that's just a sample, I guess. DGU ASU hat. Yeah. Also, a lot of these things have got groove on them. We see here we've got the roots down groove, which I think is just a standard Ableton groove. Like if you go to places and go packs and just search like, oh, actually, I guess no, you have to go to all results. Yeah, roots down AGR. That's what it sounds like. We might have edited the groove a little bit, but that's what we're applying to basically everything that needs a groove to give it that sort of swung groove. And we're just writing everything directly on the grid like this. So if you put those together, it's just a bunch of like high-end stuff to fill out the high frequencies. Can hat. So this is, yeah, some weird sample that we found, and then we're just pitching it down in a sampler, I think. Yeah. Then we have what, new hats. Sounds like this. And that is just some samples that are cut up in a drum rack. Next thing down, shaker. This has some like volume automation and stuff on it to give it some dynamics. Then we have a KJ Sorka ride. And then some noise, just white noise. Cymbal on the one, I guess there's nothing really on this channel except this. Just a shitty cymbal. I don't think we use this section at the end here, actually. It's just whatever. Alright, anyway, the cymbals are pretty boring. Then we have these kind of effects noises, the water spray, the vinyl water, and the pitch bent water. So these are kind of like watery things, like this. Kind of like nice Foley things, you know, to just like create rises and drop sounds and like just fill shit out a little bit. Well, actually, this here, water drop beat. I guess I just warped that and put it on beats mode and then used the feed forward mode and turn the the transient envelope down, so you can kind of see how it how it's like it started to create a beat in the end and it makes this really wet sort of effect. Gives it that nice sort of wet vibe. Here we have a roll. I think this was from KJ Sorka's pack, and I just kind of cut it up a little bit to give it the so that's kind of cool. Then we have these kung fu sounds. They're just like whips and stuff. This little stuff just kind of like adds little bits and pieces through the beat. So with the kung fus, it sounds like this. It's just like real subtle stuff. And then we have this laser, which is, I guess, a sample that's just in a sampler with just a bit of processing on it, which you can check out if you get the project file. This whip sound. Again, it's just another sample we found. What's this? I think that came out of Contact, actually. Oh, wait, no. This was a sound of somebody swallowing, I think. And then we distorted it to make it sound like a horn or something like that. I can't remember exactly how that was made, but yeah. Then we have some water droplets. Just that sort of stuff. So you can kind of hear it in there. Then some impacts. Just simple stuff to add like a little bit more effects to the beat. Then we have these shakers, like these 3 channels here are just all shakers. They're all turned off. They're all sleeping. So again, that just fills the top end out. And then this clock here We just use this clock for the build-up because I kind of really like to use clocks for percussion, and that sounds kind of like this. It's really subtle, but you can hear it. Just kind of warped it and put it in there. Oh yeah, and then of course some cowbell. Some Latin percussion. And then some guiros. Just to kind of add like a little bit of drop sound. So that's basically what's going on for the drums. The subs. We have a bunch of subs going on. This is all our sub channels here. So the first one is like a subby kick. So it's just a sample that has like a bit of attack on it. If I play it on my keyboard, it sounds like that, but we're sidechain compressing it, obviously, so you don't really hear that attack. But you kind of hear the attack, like a tiny bit, so just like it makes it a little bit tougher. And then the second channel here, I imagine, is a similar thing. Oh, it's just got longer release, I think. Yeah, it's just like single notes. This one here is, I guess, just a render, and then we pitch bent it or something. I guess we did that in a sampler. It's just a simple sine wave, I believe. These sub samplers, I think they're all turned off at this point, but that was just, I guess, at some stage just another sub. So these are all real simple things. There's a few interesting subs in here somewhere though. Yeah, these ones are kind of cool because these have a little bit more like interesting stuff going on. So yeah, they have some like they did have some pitch. It's like got some FM going on, I believe, like a little bit of FM, a little bit of distortion. I can't remember. Yeah, I think ill.Gates made this one, but yeah, it's got a little bit of stuff going on. But what we're doing is we're turning it off like every time it finishes a phrase, so it's not like bleeding into the next part. Sort of like that. And if you listen to that with like all of the stuff, it's kind of. Yeah, so if that rung out, it would just get into this next bit and make it muddy and stuff. New sub 2, similar thing. It's just kind of doing a call and response with the first one. And then, so they're like very sort of subtly different, just to kind of give it a little bit of movement, I guess. This here is just a punchy sort of sub. I guess it has some pitch envelope on it. Yeah, and then again, we have to turn the device off when we have to turn the device off at the end so it doesn't ring out. And then we use it here again, but just pitch it up a bit to give it a bit of melody. So this reverse sub, it's just like a kind of pad, I think, to, yeah, it just fills out like the build up a little bit. This intro sub is just kind of simple stuff. This has actually got like a weird reverb thing going on in the patch or something. You can hear that high end in it. Oh, no, sorry, no, it's not in the patch. It's being sent to a reverb send. So send B, which is it's a guitar rig with a compressor and some other stuff going on. By the way, when you get all of this, when you get this project file, if you get it, everything's like frozen and cleaned up and stuff. It doesn't look exactly like this one, just in case you don't have a bunch of third-party plugins. So don't worry about that. Yeah, then kind of we get into some other stuff, like some more shakers, this woo sound. It's just to kind of, add some energy or whatever. That was ill.Gates actually saying that through my microphone. You can kind of hear it real subtly. Yeah, then we have more shakers. It's not really that interesting. It just sounds like this. They're kind of, standard shakers. Then some reverse shakers, I guess, for some build-up stuff. and that may have an auto pan on it, or it sounded like it did at some stage. Yeah, if you take the auto pan actually, and then you kind of turn this up and then turn the phase right up and then mess with the rate, it just becomes like a tremolo effect. So we can do stuff like that and kind of cut it up. Obviously it sounds a bit weird because this one already has cutting on it, so it's a little bit weird. We have crowd noise, like on the drops and stuff. It just kind of gives it that big crowd sort of energy. Then what do we have here? Some weird little edits that we made with synths. This drum rack, I believe, is not doing shit. But yeah, like all of this stuff is cleaned up and everything's named. This is just my personal project file, but when you get it, it'll be all clean. Okay, so this here is like an Uber driver who, this Uber driver was driving Dylan home from I think he was driving him from Denver airport to my house. And he started playing harmonica in the car. Sounds like this. Oh, actually, no it doesn't. That's after I edited it. Anyway, that was the original edit, and then we put it in a sampler, I guess, and then like bent it out a bit more. Yeah, I guess it has like some more shit going on. How does it get that high? Sort of, it's getting like a lot of attack somehow. Maybe a transient shaper along here somewhere. Oh, there's an amp and an OT and stuff like that. Like a OT is just a preset multi-band compressor that you can get out of Live's library. Yeah, so there's that, and then the next thing down, new pop melody. Again, that's not doing shit, so maybe it's not in the final. What's this? Again, that's not doing shit. End pops. Here we go. What is this? So this is like, yeah, some melody. It sounds like it's just a sine wave that's really short and then has some like short reverb on it. Or some delay or something. Sounds cool. All these Neuro and Tipper stuff. So the thing is when you get this project file, you don't just get this one. You get like everything that we'd made. If I go back, like you can see there's a bunch of different versions. You'll get like every version, and you'll get like all the renders that we did, so you can like see where the idea started and where the idea is now. So all of this was created with synths, but it just ended up being rendered down so we could kind of transcend our mental processing power by having less channels to deal with. So you can see how that patch was made. I actually made that one with Zebra. Actually, this needs to be turned off. Yeah, and then there's this Depeche Mode synth, which is made with Zebra as well. And it's really simple. I think it's just like two oscillators with a filter. It's got some cutoff and then a multi-stage envelope generator, which is doing this sort of thing. And then there's this high-end version of it, which is the same thing, but I was messing around with the sync rates on the oscillators to give it that kind of like syncy sound. It's got that extra harmonic on the top end. But yeah, you can see how that was made in some of the older project files. And then we have some melodic parts here. This is some like boom whackers. Yeah, so this instrument is called a boom whacker. It's basically like a PVC pipe, and there's a contact instrument for it. That's really nice. And yeah, you can see that in the previous project files too. But this whole channel has just got a bunch of different melodic stuff in it. Yeah, and then there's horns, I think, which we primarily made from just random samples we found, plus contact stuff. Oh, and there's also some of the harmonicas in here. Some like dub skank sort of shit. Then we have some blips. these just all ended up in the one channel again, just to save room, because we still ended up with like about 80 channels after even rendering tons of stuff down. So it's kind of why we had to do that. Cartoon effects. It's just a bunch of random effects and stuff. Oh, this is probably where the vocals are too. I don't give a yeah, with like the scratches and stuff. I don't give a then there's the vocals, all the cutty vocals that I did, and you can go and see exactly how I did that in the previous project files. I did this during this Depeche Mode bit. And then what do we got? Some zappy synths. Just effects stuff, I guess, to make it sound a little bit more dubby. Sounds pretty cool. And then after that, we just have down the bottom here is a couple of things like risers. That I think I made in Zebra. And what's this? Just some more drop noises to fill out the drops a bit more. And another riser, which, yeah, I guess this is water being sucked and gurgled out of an oil drum. I might have like a, no pitch bend. I think it's just being filtered or something like that. Yeah, the filter on the sampler is just being opened up to kind of make it sound like it's rising. So yeah, and then you can see the render that we have here. It's the pre-master and then the master, and then you can check out the mastering chain. But if we go into like, you know, some of the older versions, like, I don't know, let's go into version 6 or something, you'll probably see a bunch of the things that I've shown you here are actually, let's not save, you'll see a bunch of the things that I've shown you here are actually like opened out into nicer sort of synths and stuff, so that you don't have to just look at the audio files. You can go back and like reverse arrange how actually a lot of reverse engineer how a lot of these sounds were actually made. While this is loading, I'll show you the website. So yeah, basically I'll put this link in the description. If you go here and you're a hardcore Ableton you'll see this page, and if you're logged in, basically you'll be able to just get all the footage, and then like you'll be able to get the tracks, like the actual music itself, the stems, all the project files. Hold on, what's going on here? There's a bunch of contact samples missing for me apparently. Let's just skip that for the moment. So yeah, and then if you're not a hardcore Ableton, holy shit, just abort loading maybe. God damn, it's just chugging up my computer hard. And then if you're not a hardcore Ableton, you'll go to this page basically, and just choose what you like. So you can just get the standard edition, which is just the tracks. I'd just put $0, but you can put whatever price you want. 7 is just a joke, honestly. And then you can go enthusiast edition, which is $10, which includes the MP3 and the wave formats plus the stems. Then the producer light edition, that will give you the track, the stems, and the project file. And then the producer full edition, which is $30, will give you the track, the stems, the project file, plus like 60 hours of video of us writing this thing from scratch. So it's like a really good way to learn how a piece of music, especially a collaboration, happens from scratch. And then, yeah, if you want to become a member of my website, it's like $15 a month, and this is kind of how I make my living, primarily how I make my living anyway. And then you'll have access to not only this, but like, you know, every project file from Settling for Mediocrity, every project file from IRL, every project file plus like 40 hours of video from Lego Bolognese, every project file from Focus, every project file from Suave, like basically all of my project files, you'll get all of them. So yeah, here's like an older version. You can see the R&B Vox here. So what's this? Okay, so it's like probably a version back or two. That this is kind of where they're in their Melodyne state, where I'm kind of still processing them. So if you go through the versions, you'll see the steps on kind of how I got there. Here's the boom whackers, but it looks like I'm my computer can't find the library right now for them. Yeah, it still looks like shit's kind of rendered down a little bit here, so maybe if we go down to like V4 or V5, I don't know, you can look through it anyway, but yeah. Yeah, I'll put this link in the description. If you want to go get it, go get it. If not, then hopefully you learned something just by watching this video, so I didn't completely waste your time trying to promote some bullshit. So yeah, anyway, have a good day, and let me know what you think in the comments or some shit. Peace.